Science at Clemson University. First time in the student competition, we welcome them, and stage is yours.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning.
Brad Smith, project manager.
Thank you.
Brad Smith, project manager. Nice to meet you. Morning, Kate. Good to see you again. Brad Smith, project manager. Thank you very much. Good morning.
How are you?
Reach over. Brad Smith, project manager. Good morning, thank you. Well, howdy y'all. Hope you're all having a good day today. We are Reliable Roofing. We are a roofing subcontractor based out of the Dallas area. We love the Dallas community. We love the Dallas Cowboys, obviously, and we would love to work with you in the future, hopefully build a relationship with you on this project starting, and then be able to work with you more on future projects. I am Brad Smith. I'm the project manager assigned to this project.
My name is Hallie Bowers, and I'm the lead estimator for the Dallas branch of Reliable Roofing.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ken Compton. I'm the superintendent on this job.
Good morning, I'm Hendrik Smith. I'm the quality control manager for this project.
Just a quick overview of Reliable Roofing. So we were started in Dallas by Chris and Linda Longhorn about 1987, and then got into the commercial roofing industry about 25 years ago. Now we have grown to be a nationally recognized roofing subcontractor with 8 offices across the United States. That number, the third number I'd like to point out is 45 experienced craftsmen ready to go. Those are experienced roofers who are currently working on a project that I'll touch on a little bit later, but will be ready for this project when it starts. So we are Carlisle certified. I noticed on the specifications that Carlisle was the #1 product to choose. We have been certified with them for about 15 years now, certified in PVC and TPO. So we are an NRCA member. We're a proud member. We've been a member since 1995. I myself am pro certified in all 3 categories. Kane Compton over there is pro certified in all 3 categories, and all of our foremen on any project are pro certified in all 3 categories. We're very proud of that. NRCA manual, that is something that we keep up to date. Anytime there's a new one that comes out, we have it online for all employees to view. One of the first things we do for a new employee is we hand them that manual so they can know what our standards are and make sure that they know that we have high standards. So OSHA certification. We're big on safety. As you may know, one of the largest causes of death and injury on job sites is falls. So as a roofing subcontractor, we're very big on safety. So OSHA certification, any new employee within a couple days of joining us, we send them off and they get the OSHA 10 certification. Then after 6 months, they'll get the OSHA 30 certification. And then after that, they're willing to go and get whatever certification they'd like. So customer satisfaction, just briefly want to talk about this. This is probably what sets us apart from other subcontractors. That second number that you can see right there, the percentage that would hire us back. So at the end of every year, we take a little survey from clients, any subcontractors that we work really closely with, any general contractors such as yourselves, and we like to see what our strengths and weaknesses were and whether they would work with us again. So 98% of the general contractors that we work with have said that they would work with us again. So I challenge you to talk to any other sub that you talk today and ask them what their rate of return is and see if they got towards the 90%. One project I'd like to touch on is the University of Phoenix State Farm Dome. We worked on this project. Kane and I actually worked on this together. 200,000 square feet, a little over a year to take. That was Carlisle PVC, by the way, that we used on that project, so we have used that before. This is the project that we're working on currently in the Dallas area. Just wanted to let you guys know that we were on this. It's our largest project going on right now. And we have a couple other small projects, but we should be done about May 2020, so it shouldn't affect the dates at all. Jumping into the Frisco Multi-Use Center specifically, the scope, we were looking at the dome, so Carlisle PVC, insulation, that is temperature and sound insulation, and the gutter system. And then for the low slope, that was TPO, just temperature insulation and metal coating. So now I'm going to turn it over to Hallie Bowers as our project estimator.
Thank you, Brad. Again, I want to introduce myself. My name is Hallie Bowers, and I am the lead estimator here at the Dallas branch of Reliable Roofing. And actually, when I joined this team about 6 or 7 years ago now, I was actually a Texans girl, believe it or not. No conflict of interest there, don't worry. These guys have done a good job of converting me over the past few years, so I can say with equal enthusiasm that I'm very excited to be here and have the opportunity to present to you guys today. That being said, let's dive into the numbers. You can see I've put together a total package of just over $2.5 million, and I've broken that down into 3 subcategories for you today, just to make it a little bit easier to understand. That first one is going to be materials at $1.43 million. Like Brad said, that's going to be that Carlisle PVC on the dome, as well as that Carlisle TPO on the low slope. On top of that, you have $648,000 for our labor package, and then our general conditions is going to be $419,000. In those general conditions, I do want to point out that that is going to include overhead profit, our admin fee, as well as all of our equipment freight. I've further broken that down for you in the spreadsheet that you guys have in front of you today, but I've taken the liberty of breaking it down even further for everyone. You can see I have the cost per square foot as well as the total percentage of each of those subcategories, at a total of 280,000 square feet. That does come out to just under $9 a square foot. But all that aside, the thing I want to leave you guys with today is one of the first things that I learned when I joined the team here at Reliable Roofing. And that is the heavy emphasis that we place here at our company on the individual dollar. And basically what that means for you, if you choose to contract with us, is that you are rest assured you will get the highest quality product, the fastest paced product, or the fastest paced project, for the most efficient cost to you. So you can assure that every dollar that you spend with us will be stretched as far as we can possibly go to give you that best final product in the end. Now, I would like to introduce to you our superintendent, Mr. Kane Compton, and he's going to tell you exactly how we plan to do that.
Well, thank you so much, Hallie. We've got a fantastic estimating team here at Reliable Roofing. They make my job a heck of a lot easier. Hallie mentioned she's been here for about 6 or 7 years. Believe it or not, I've actually been here for a few decades, so she's like a daughter to me at this point. I know, shocking. But we're going to jump into the work execution plan. First off, with mobilization, all of our material, when it arrives from the supplier, we're going to go ahead and stage it on the roof. You can see that with our 75-ton crane, we'll have 2 different mobilizations. The first one on the west side of the project and the second one on the east side. And that radius, the blue radius on the screen, is just showing the reach of the crane depending on what elevation it is trying to reach. And so that's, as you can see, we'll have access to both the low slope and the dome. And the material will be staged where it will be installed. On the dome, we will stage it right along the ridge line there. We will secure it and protect it. And so that way it will not be damaged at all because of weather, UV rays, anything like that. And it will be secure up there until it's ready to be installed. As far as the sequencing of this job goes, we've broken it into 3 phases, as you can see on the screen. And the logic behind this is very safety driven. If you notice phase 1 and 2, they're fairly segregated. So the blue in phase 1, on the dome, we've got that on the west side going on while the low slope is happening, on the east side while the low slope is happening on the west. And this is just to avoid having labor stacked on top of each other. If we can do anything in our power to prevent, something rolling off the roof and hurting any labor below, we will. And so to add to that, we can only control our labor. And so a secondary thing we would like to do is install these nets in the picture along the east and west side. And so if any other subs, anybody happens to be working on the low slope, we'll have that there to catch any objects that have the potential of rolling off that dome and keep everyone safe. So phase 1, on the dome we'll have 9 workers broken into 3 crews. And on the low slope we'll have 5 workers broken into 2 crews. The workers on the low slope will start in the northwest corner and work their way counterclockwise until they finish the area shown on the screen. And while they are doing that simultaneously, the labor on the dome will be working from east to west, and they will complete the area shown shaded on the dome by the time that the low slope has finished their work. And the total working days for phase 1 is 73. Phase 2, it's the exact same idea, but just flip-flopped. So now the workers on the dome on the low slope are going to start in the northwest corner and work clockwise, while the dome goes from west to east. Total working days is going to be 60. And for the final phase, we're going to push all of our labor onto the dome and just finish out this project. And so even though it's a pretty sizable area still left on the dome, you'll notice the working days is only 23, and that's because we've got sufficiently more man hours now up on the dome working. And so we'll be able to push this through and finish the project ahead of schedule, as you'll see here. So adding in some time for mobilization and punch, the total duration is 163 working days, and with a scheduled start date of May 1st, 2020, that puts us finishing on December 16th, 2020. So that's 15 days ahead of schedule, which we're really proud of. And what that means for you is that if anything comes up, severe weather, if the owner decides they want to take a tour and you can't have any workers on the roof one day, we can work with you. We'll be happy to do that, and we will get this job done ahead of schedule. So that's all I got, and now we're gonna move into safety, and I'll invite Brad back up on stage.
Thanks, Kane. You and I worked on several projects together. We worked on that Phoenix, Arizona stadium together. It was a great stint in Phoenix that you and I had. Worked on probably 30 projects together, so great team effort. With safety being one of our #1 priorities here at Reliable Roofing, we have a little saying that's no safety, no pain. So we let everybody know that. That's why we have the whole OSHA 10 for any new employees. So one thing that we like to do is for the low slope fall protection is we will have these carts. And so as you see in that picture, those carts are weighted carts. And any worker that is within 5 feet of the edge, so this will be the metal coping workers or anyone doing flashing on the parapet wall, they will be tied off to this with a retractable tie-off. And this cart will allow them to have full range of motion with no fear of falling off the edge. So for the dome, there's a safety line plan. We will install this prior to any workers being on the dome area. The pink line that you see there is the safety line itself, and then each black dot is the anchor point for those safety lines. And then this is where the workers will work from north to south and east to west. Now I'm going to turn it over to quality control with Hendricks, and he'll finish it up.
Well, thank you, Brad. We have a great safety team here at Reliable Roofing. They do their job so well. They're definitely the first ones to call you out if your shoe's untied, and you're not going to get out of their sight until you tie it back. So they do a great job. We have a heavy emphasis on safety, but we also focus strongly on quality control. It's super important to us here at Reliable Roofing. Simply a building can't exist without a high quality roof. That's why we like to say 2 things here at Reliable Roofing. We want a high quality roofing system, and we want what I like to call the 3 S words. Now, these are good S words. We encourage you to say these around the site. That's smooth, safe, and secure. Those are 3 S words we have here at Quality Control: smooth, safe, and secure, and high quality roofing system. That's what we want to have. We have a program that's going to be set in place from pre-construction to closeout. It's going to allow us to accomplish both of these tasks. Let's go ahead and jump into the program. The first section is the inspection section. There's 3 different types of inspections. There's preparatory site inspections, work in process inspections, and work task completion inspections. The first being preparatory. So we go out before each phase begins. We make sure that any kind of work that was done before our scope of work, such as concrete decking, steel metal decking, there's no kind of moisture there, there's no holes, there's no cracking, so we're not going to be covering up any kind of future issues for the building that they might have. Work in process quality inspections. About the middle of our phases, we go out again, making sure that our workers are maintaining that high quality that we need to have a successful project. They're installing their insulation correctly, they're applying their fasteners at the correct on-center distance of 12 inches. Just things like that, making sure they're maintaining that high quality conforming to the specs as they should be. Work task completion quality inspection. That's our 3rd inspection, so after each phase, we go back out once again, making sure that seams are tight, making sure the flashing is high quality. There's no blisters on the roof, there's no debris that's going to cause harm to the building. Making sure that everything's done with the highest of quality, maintaining that from the beginning to the end is super important to us. Also want to point out our first S word, all 3 of these inspections are smooth. So the entirety of these inspections, having all 3 of these inspections throughout the project, creates that smooth aspect for us. It allows us to move from phase to phase very smoothly, very freely, and keep everything rolling. Moving on to the progress report is the 2nd section to the program. This is broken down into risk, materials, and submittals. Risk being our safe aspect, our 2nd S word that I talked about, keeping our workers out of harm's way. So anything that's going to impact our project cost-wise, schedule-wise, or quality-wise is going to be a risk to us. So we want to document these. We analyze the data on a daily basis. We'll be able to see how it's going to impact our project cost-wise and days-wise. All our material is shipped to the job site directly from the supplier. It's stored on the job site, as Kane talked about a little bit earlier. It's going to be staged from basically, I'd like to say front to back. That way our workers can basically work from front to back of the materials, go from pallet to pallet on the top of the roof, maintaining that smooth aspect. I do want to point out that the material will be covered. So like Kane talked about, we talked about UV rays and rain protection. That is one thing we will be doing with the material. Moving on to submittals. Submittals is our third S word. It secures the entire program together, documenting these submittals, making sure they're signed off by the correct individuals, architects, GCs, owners, making sure that they match your specs. That really secures the entire program, brings everything together. I do want to point out the progress report and the inspections are both updated on a weekly basis, and they're going to be turned into y'all, the GC, every Friday. So, as a whole, with 30 years in the industry, 60 plus years of experience between our team, we believe that Reliable Roofing can provide an on-time, safe, and high-quality roofing system. We look forward to hopefully working with you, Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas community, and bettering those relationships. So now we would like to open up to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Good job, guys. So just to start off, you guys have talked a bit about safety. As it relates to weather on the dome roof structure, what weather variables would keep you guys from installing roofing?
So as far as the dome goes, we would say any major rainstorms, we would need to make sure that the roof was dry enough, not only for when we're putting down PVC itself, to make sure that there's a dry area so there's no water underneath it, but also for our workers, so that they don't slip and fall down the dome. For the low slope, it's a little bit different because there's no really danger as far as safety goes. I know towards the edge there's some danger, but generally around the low slope, it's a little bit less dangerous than the dome. So for the low slope, it could be cleaned up a lot more for the water that's pooling up, and not too concerned about safety around that area.
Just to add to that, sorry. Is it good? Good, cool. Just to add to that, we all know how wind can be down here in Texas, and anybody that's looked at the plans knows how steep that dome area actually is. So if it gets above a certain wind speed, we don't allow any workers on the dome as well.
Thank you.
Nicely done. If you're the successful bidder and installer on this project, what about after the roof is completed? How will you take care of us? What can you do for us to ensure the longevity of the roof?
Yes, sir. So per the contract, or per the specifications, it calls for a 2-year warranty added on. We would be willing to extend that warranty. Generally, I actually have a slide for this. Generally, it is about $10,000 per year in addition, but we are willing to negotiate. Obviously, if you do a 5-year plan, we could do $8,000 a year, $7,000 a year, negotiate with you.
So 10,000 per additional year of?
Just for a warranty, and that covers any damages. If there's any water damage, we'll come and fix whatever needs to be fixed.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question centers around making sure that the Dallas Cowboys, that we end up with a good roof at the end. And one of the challenges in new construction for you all will be ensuring that you protect the roof from damage due to other trades. And so how are you going to do that both during and after when you're done, so that we don't end up with people having a roof that leaks that is through no fault of your own, but you have an unhappy owner?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. The major risk that we've identified as far as other trades go is going to be the metal siding along the edge of the side of the low slope leading up to the dome that will be installed. While that's being put in, obviously they're going to be cutting metal, shards of metal can fall down. That's a big danger and a risk to us. And so in order to protect that, one thing we've thought about doing is not installing within 5 or 6 feet along that wall until all of the metal is complete. So that way they've got plenty of room to set their scaffolding up, make all their cuts, and we shouldn't be worried. If it's an area where they need to go in and do repairs and we've already installed our roof, then we would definitely want to protect that, lay down plywood, OSB, anything that can keep a layer in between, because we obviously do not want any penetrations in this roof, and we want it to be a long-lasting product for you.
Thank you very much.
And as far, just to add to that, as far as anything we don't see in the future, we do have contingencies added into the estimation to cover any damages by any of ourselves.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for providing us with a lot of information regarding the sequencing and the schedule and how you guys anticipate this project moving once you get started. I guess what we're curious about too is when you install this roof, which way are the workers going to work from the low point to the high point? Are the rolls going to be oriented in a specific way? What are some different means and methods, and are you going to be using any different types of equipment or anything that is unique, just mostly related to the dome structure?
Sure, thanks, Scott. As far as the low point to high point goes, we definitely will be doing that. We want to make sure that water is draining properly off of the roof, and so we want to layer starting on the edges, and then the final piece would be along the ridge line there. And then what else did you want to ask? Sorry.
Which way will the rolls go? Are they going to go perpendicular to slope or parallel to slope?
They would be going perpendicular, so
It's perpendicular, starting from the edge and working
Right.
up towards the ridge line.
and then lapping to make sure that it drains properly.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
Morning.
Morning.
My first question is, who came up with Chris and Linda Longhorn? Just wanted to make note of that, Brad.
You like it?
I do like it.
On our qualifications package, I think there's like a little backstory.
Okay, great. No, my second question is, how will you manage any potential quality issues that may arise on the job? What's the procedure and policy for handling those?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking that question. That's a really good question. We have, like I talked about, the risk. We document risk on a daily basis. And so by documenting these risks, we also have daily huddle meetings, safety huddle meetings. So at the beginning of each day, we have a daily huddle meeting with our safety managers, and they will go through some of the risk that we have documented the day before, the previous days, so we can basically tell our workers, hey, watch out, we have this subcontractor is working in this area today and tomorrow. I'm just making sure you're aware of that. They have equipment, this type of equipment here, making sure that they're gonna, they're aware of that, so they kind of stay out of that way.
The Longhorns built this company on the foundation.
Yeah. Duly noted.
Well, good morning, team, and congratulations for being here with us this morning.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. Nice presentation.
Thank you.
I think we all can speak for one another when it comes to safety on a job site. It's priority number one. We want all of our employees to go back to the same way they came to us in the morning. And notice you have a pretty strong safety culture within your organization. I have a couple questions for you. Number one, who actually controls the site safety on the project? Because I don't believe the safety director can be there all day and with multiple jobs going on. I'm sure they do periodic inspections or whatever that role might be on all projects currently going on. So number one, who controls the safety on this project? You're awarded this job. And talk about some other safety action items. You mentioned about a safety huddle in the morning. Do you have a new hire orientation program in the company? Do you have periodic safety inspections, or do you have stretch and flex programs in your company?
So great question, a lot to take in. So if I miss something, let me know. But we do have a full-time safety staff. They travel from job to job. For a project this size, we will have one on there almost every single day. If he's not there, Kane will be there. He is certified. He was a safety engineer for about 5 years, certified in OSHA 30, certified in first aid, so he's very qualified. And all of our foremen are also OSHA 30. They've been in the industry for at least 5 years. They're very experienced, they're very knowledgeable. They know how to tie off properly. We stress safety with them extensively. So for any new craftsmen that come in, we do have the 2-week training program. This is a little bit more on quality side, but it lets them know the basics of roofing. So it's basically just a 2-week crash course, how to tie off, what is PVC, what is TPO, how do you install it properly, that sort of thing. And then we have intermediate courses for anyone else. We've actually partnered with Clemson University, so we actually ship up anyone that needs extra training. They go to Clemson University. They get actual roofing courses by a guy named Dr. Gajar. Dr. Gajar has started a roofing course at Clemson University.
First of its kind.
First of its kind. and they take, and generally it's a couple weeks, and they take roofing courses that are very intermediate, very experienced. And then, of course, as I mentioned, all new employees get the OSHA 10 certification as soon as they start working with us within a couple days. And then after 6 months with us, they get the OSHA 30 certification. So,
Fantastic.
does that answer everything?
Pretty much everything.
Thank you.
I threw a lot at you. And last, if you see someone working unsafe on a project, who's got the responsibility to stop that person from working unsafe?
Everyone does, everybody.
From the bottom to the top, everybody is encouraged to call anybody out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back when you were in college, were you in that class?
Yes, yes, sir, we were.
Man, that was a long time ago for me. If I recall correctly, yeah.
Very much.